Aw, poor little guy. Must be a bear, and bears are wrecked, as there have been millions in short liquidations over the past 24 hours or so, but major bullish development from none other than Blackrock's Larry Fink, basically saying Bitcoin will be the dominant currency of the world. On top of that, we've got bullish news with the latest on the spot Bitcoin ETF race. Things are getting pretty spicy, and macro fiat world appears headed towards recession. But get bullish, baby. It's Friday. Let's get it. Let's get it started with the man of the hour today, Larry Fink, CEO of Blackrock, live on CNBC. Here we go.
Can you talk about where crypto fits?
Well, I can't talk about Bitcoin because we have a filing with the SEC, so I'm prohibited. I can talk about crypto in general, and I can talk about what we have done. You know, we believe we have a responsibility to democratize investing. And we've done a great job, and the role of ETFs in the world is transforming investing. And I think we're only at the beginning of that. I mean, we believe the fixed income market is going to become multiple $1 trillion in ETFs. Equities will continue. More and more of the market will be delivered through an ETF platform. If you think about what was done 20 years ago now with the advent of a gold ETF, that really democratized gold investing. It brought down the cost of transaction for gold. I mean, the cost of transacting physical gold is absurd. And now, with crypto, the idea of democratizing that role, the cost right now to transact is quite expensive. We're talking points, not decimal points.
Lightning network.
And so that's a big point. Two, over the last 5 years, more and more our global investors are asking us about the role of crypto. And as I said, I do believe a lot of crypto is going to be, it's an international asset. It has a differentiating value versus other asset classes, but more importantly, because it's so international, it's going to transcend any one currency and currency valuation. If you just look at the value of our dollar, how it depreciated the last two months, and how much it appreciated over the last 5 years, I mean, an international crypto product can really transcend that. And that's why we believe there's great opportunities, and that's why we're seeing more and more interest. And that interest is broad-based worldwide.
Now, one thing there is Larry does say crypto quite a bit. Just say Bitcoin, okay? But as we showed in our past episode on BlackRock, Fink responded to one question basically mirroring Michael Saylor in calling Bitcoin hope. It's crazy how the tables turn, and Larry Fink is promoting spot Bitcoin as hope for the world while Elon is out shilling doggy coins. This timeline is unreal. Timeline is unreal, but things are getting very bullish as we have big developments on the spot Bitcoin ETF front. As we can see here, all the major players have been recognized and the clock is ticking. SEC has acknowledged Bitcoin ETF applications for BlackRock, VanEck, Invesco, Galaxy Digital, Fidelity, and Wisdom Tree. The train is moving forward. Now, I really like this statement here from Wendy, and it relates to Bitcoin game theory. Again, it's not like Larry Fink had a change of heart and loves freedom, etc. No, Larry Fink wants to win for his company, for his investors, etc. And Bitcoin's incentives are too strong to deny now, even for Larry Fink and BlackRock, who aren't the most media prominent group despite owning like 90% of the media. But that brought me to another bullish thought, and that is the power and influence BlackRock and Fink have on so many fronts. And as we've seen, the mainstream media narrative appear to alter pretty swiftly surrounding Bitcoin mining and energy FUD, etc. But when the whole of the mainstream media starts promoting Bitcoin, what happens? Because as I said, BlackRock is a media behemoth, pretty much a behemoth in everything. Could say they own governments and likely the largest holders of people's personal data on the planet. But what is great is that FUD, etc. that have been propagandized and puked from talking heads for years is likely to greatly dwindle dwindle, but here is a breakdown of some of BlackRock's media ownership.
BlackRock currently owns 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, and 13% of Comcast, which in turn owns NBC, MSNBC, and Sky. If any of those companies wanted to make a decision, they would have to also consult with BlackRock before doing so. The same is true for Google, a tech giant currently worth $853 billion. Amazon, Facebook, and Twitter are also not exempt, and neither is Disney. Thanks to their incredibly diverse investment portfolio in media alone, BlackRock essentially owns 90% of the world's media. If you don't know about them, it's because they don't want you to.
Now, it's a pretty massive deal when the guy who owns 90% of the media is going pretty full bull-tard on Bitcoin right now. And it's pretty easy to say in some regards that the bears are wrecked and all the haters are having to eat their L's or hop on the Bitcoin bandwagon. I thought this meme was kind of too awesome. I had to share. You can't stop Bitcoin, and spewing venom out of the mouth is not going to cut it anymore. Here we go.
It has no value to store. There is nothing that you can use Bitcoin for.
Get wrecked, Schiff.
I've been warning you guys about this. I'll do it again. Get out of Bitcoin and any of those other cryptocurrencies now.
He's
Get
right
rid of
about
that garbage.
Flash crash.
Bitcoin has no unique value at all. It's a delusion, basically.
There's no value in the Bitcoin. It's not a store of value because there's no value to store.
You can't be dead. You can't be. Now get up.
Prepare yourselves. Oh, Bitcoin is dead? Oh. How about you go f*** yourself?
He's the one.
Indeed. And the dinosaurs are about to go extinct. So it looks like everything is getting very bullish for Bitcoin, while the dollar and fiat currencies are not looking so hot as we have here. $1.6 trillion bank warns original sin of money printing will force U.S. into recession. And that comes from an economist at a Societe Generale. And here he's quoted, "The number one original sin, so to speak, is that governments have spent a huge amount of money to maintain the economy that was put in hibernation. So we're talking roughly 10 to 15% of GDP. Agbo Blua says the Fed will continue to raise interest rates in its fight against inflation until it triggers a rise in unemployment and a reduction in demand for goods and services that forces the economy into a recession. The central banks need to trigger a recession to force unemployment to pick up and create enough demand destruction, but we're not there yet," Agbo Blua said. So the dollar just went below 100 mark, and it seems that nothing can get fixed in clown world until they break things and start a recession. Then we can congratulate them. Great job, guys. Thanks for making us poor and starving us. No need for a self-destruct button. This centralized fiat system is going to off itself. But thank God we have Bitcoin. As we discussed earlier, demand is driving the price of Bitcoin to what this article is saying, 130,000. Now, if we think about yesterday, what Greg Foss and Tim Draper said, basically one major company, i.e. BlackRock, could take Bitcoin to 200K alone. Now, what about all those players in the ETF race? You're not bullish enough, but thankfully, the Bitcoin Bitcoin therapist is here, and he's got it all laid out for us. All right, so the Bitcoin prediction, 2023, Blackrock ETF application, 24, all the ETFs get approved, 25, Bitcoin is above 100K. That's kind of a bearish estimation, but hey, 2026, institutional FOMO, that could be coming this year, who knows, but 2027, small nations adopt Bitcoin, as by that time, Nayib Bukele in El Salvador will greatly have vindicated the nation-state Bitcoin adoption model. 2028, Bitcoin is now 500K. 2029, large nations are adopting Bitcoin. 2030, Sailor's a trillionaire. You know, I think he's hitting the mark. And remember, Bitcoin is actually even scarcer than 21 million. As Excelion says here, few. Infinity divided by 16 million. I don't know, but might want to grab some and take self-custody in case it were to catch on or something. And here we go from Luke Broyles. Adding insult to injury on the U.S. macro front, the government added $1 trillion to our national debt in 30 days after the squabble of debt ceiling panic. U.S. debt in 1981 was $1 trillion. U.S. debt in 1860 was $65 million. We added $1 trillion. We add $1 trillion to unfunded liabilities every 23 days. The 2008 financial crisis, $600 billion. I don't know. I'm looking down there. It's a big number. Pretty sure it's insolvent. But guys, get ready because we could be entering liftoff phase in the not too distant future. Signals are flashing all around you. GigaChad shares it here. This is $10 trillion in assets under management with another $17 trillion in assets in the ETF race listed above, sitting on the sidelines. Sailor on Fink right here. I mean, come on, guys. Shout out to Cedric. This is an awesome meme. But don't be like Voldemort over here, some shriveled up Horcrux waiting for 10K, because I'm sorry, that goose is cooked. And remember, don't be screwing around with shitcoins because...
Right? There's no second best, okay?
But take all your money, buy Bitcoin. Then take all your time, figure out how to borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin. Then take all your time and figure out what you can sell to buy Bitcoin.
Man, super bullish developments. The clock is ticking on an ETF, and so the clock could also be ticking for hodlers to stack affordable sats, because as Sailor said, when the banks and major institutions begin custodying, hodling, offering Bitcoin, it's likely going to become unaffordable for most people. Draper, Foss, Sailor, Fink, they've all basically made a case to you the past 2 days that point to six-figure Bitcoin, but that means nothing if you leave it on an exchange, and these people can rehypothecate your Bitcoin. Take self-custody, check out the Blockstream Jade and Cold Card, excellent Bitcoin signing devices, not your keys, not your cheese. Remember guys, stay humble, stack sats, and let Bitcoin's incentives do the rest.